What is going on? What is happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to SKF Weekly. You see it. I'm your man. Just me. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm holding it down today. John is tied up as with, this is the type of stuff that we knew was going to happen, especially a little bit more now than previously, because now his business and other things start to pick up. He's got work stuff. This is, the weather's getting warmer. They got different events that are happening. So that stuff is going to pick up. The kids are into sports. Once again, it's getting warmer. So all the warm sports, the baseballs, the softballs, hear the down. We got you, guys. We got you. And then we come back like Voltron. We good. We good either way. So anyway, salute. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in as always. Mega, I see you. What's good? Appreciate you, my guy. It goes without saying, I don't have to keep that today's a very, very busy day for content. There's a lot of stuff going on as we speak. And there's a playoff game going on right now. Ooh. Whoa. Oh, okay. Between the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets, and it looks like LeBron and Aaron Gordon getting a little chippy here. And LeBron is feeling a certain type of way. I've never seen him be a little. Well, he's super aggressive right now. He's tight. Oh. But they are on the brink of elimination, so I can see he's got that extra anger going on right now. So anyway, these NBA playoffs have been crazy. But today has been a very interesting day. Carmelo Anthony surprised us and hit us with the retirement video. If you haven't seen it, I would say either type in Carmelo Anthony retires and watch the video that way, or go to NothinButKnicks and watch the video with the sound. I'm trying to keep the video up and not get, not demonetized, but, sometimes these videos, they come after you. Maybe because it's done by Carmelo, they won't touch it. I was on the safe side, so I didn't have the audio. But if you want to hear it with the audio, I say definitely just type in Carmelo Anthony retires, or but Knicks, he's got the video as a separate clip. But yeah, it's a pretty it's interesting video. It's like it's short, it's quick, it's to the point, but it makes you feel bad, man, because Melo is he's a beloved Knick. He's not perfect. His game was never perfect, but we enjoyed the time when he was here. For the most part, he had the ups and downs to the negative stuff that happened surrounding, not being able to get the Knicks over the hump. But then again, he didn't have a lot of good pieces around him. He had a couple pieces, but he didn't have a lot of good pieces around him to help the Knicks get to that next level. And then you had the whole Jeremy Lin thing, which kind of stained him a little bit as a Knick, because they were like, he's hating, he's not with Linsanity. But I think that's a little far. It's a little funky. I don't think Melo loved all of the attention it was getting, because Melo was also very close friends with other guys around the league, other stars, and Kobe. And Kobe wasn't. He thought the whole thing was a spectacle. So Melo kind of bought into that a little bit. But I do know that apparently once Melo got to know Jeremy Lin, they became cool, and he bought in. But at that point, Linsanity had also died down too. So it is what it is. Just didn't work out the way you would have loved it to. But yeah, man, it's a very tough thing. It's sad to see, because Melo had so much potential to be one of the best ever, and he is one of the best ever, but he could have gone down as really one of the top 5 greats if he had played out his whole career and not been blackballed and all of the other things that happened with him. He made some choices that probably set his career back a little bit. I'm surprised, to be honest. I still can't get over this Melo situation, because I've never really witnessed this happen to any NBA players before. Now, it might have happened, but one, it didn't happen to anybody on my team. And 2, it wasn't something I really cared about. Like, I didn't notice, because I'm sure it probably happened to other players around the league on other teams that, were getting older and we just stopped seeing them, but nobody was really thinking about it. But what happened to Melo was messed up, man, because the guy still had years under his belt to play. The first time he got blackballed, and then he got blackballed again twice, because the whole Houston situation was crazy. And thankfully Portland threw him a lifeline, which was dope. Thank you. Shout out to Dame Dollar and the whole Portland staff and crew over there. That was big. Oh, and CJ McCollum was instrumental in that too. But I think the other thing that messed him up too is after Portland, the whole Laker thing was just a little too late. You know what I mean? And then when he went over there, he just didn't have the same game that he used to have. And so do I think he should have been ostracized after that? No, he still could have played. He still could have contributed. There's guys on benches making money doing nothing. And Melo could at least go out there and give you some 3-point shooting. He can give you 10 to 12 points a night. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit more if you give him a little bit more touches, but he can give you that. So I don't know. I think it was kind of messed up. It's sad that his career ended the way it ended. I mean, because when you think about it, he might have lost 3, maybe 4. No, but I think 3 years. He might have lost 3 years of play because of this. Yeah, maybe 2.5 to 3. Maybe that's what it is. And that's crazy. It's wild. And the way Melo was playing, especially during that Houston time, he was averaging around 22 points a game. I mean, around 20 points a game around that time. So he could have easily added to his scoring records and, his scoring, stat and stuff like that, and kind of really added to his legacy. So it's kind of messed up. But yeah, the other thing about the commercial, the retirement commercial, is that he talks about passing the torch to his son, and that now that's his legacy. Like, he's going to live through his son and be there for his son. And I shouldn't say that. I said that wrong. Not live through his son, but the legacy will be passed on to his son, because Carmelo definitely has never showed that he's doing that. If anything, he's just been out there trying to teach his son how to play the game. And how to be an effective player and kind of take his game to the next level. He's been a really good, at least from my eyes, looking on the outside, looking in. On the outside, it looks like he's been a really good dad to his son. He's been there for him, and he's definitely been helping him. So shout out to Melo for doing that. Yeah. So this is, it's like, it's kind of surreal, man. It's like, it's there and it's coming, but now it's just done, and it sucks because Sim said something on Twitter, and we've been talking about this for a couple years. Melo never got that farewell tour, man, which is kind of messed up. I think he's done a lot for the NBA game. So it'd have been nice for him to get that. Shout out to Dwayne Dennis. What's good? I see you, my brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's a sad thing, man. It's a sad thing. And you just wish that things would have played out a little differently. Like Melo might have been able to, maybe not now, but at some point Melo probably could have contributed to this Knick team. You know what I mean? I don't know if he would have been a negative, acquisition or not, but I think he could have contributed to this Knick team at some point or other. Um, it's crazy. I don't know what to say about it, but definitely a special player. Um, I wonder what mellow moment you guys might think about when you think about him. What makes you really, you know, think about his time in New York. For me, obviously, you know, it's the moment against the Bulls, right? When he hit that big three with like 16 seconds left to tie the game or something like that, to tie the game, right? And then as time is clicking down, the Bulls score two, and the Knicks come back down the court, and then around with about 8 seconds left, Melo just puts his head down real quick and comes up real quick and pops another three to give the Knicks the lead. They go up one with 8 seconds left. The Bulls come back down the court after the timeout. They shoot the shot, doesn't go in. The Knicks win the game. That was a really big game for the Knicks. That was a huge one. And that was kind of like Melo's known for winning games. Like he's hit game tying shots or game winning shots in the past. He was actually one of the best at it. If you look statistically. But that was like a big moment for him as a Knick. That was huge. Yeah. I'll never forget that. Mega says, I wouldn't have minded if we gave Melo a last run with us. Yeah, I would have been okay with it too, to be honest. If is like I said, as long as he would have understood his role and his place on the team. And you know what? I think he would have. Because if you just it's different to say if he's on the court, but just by how he comes to the games and he bigs up his guys and he shows mad love and he's just really happy being around the Knick organization. He truly loved being a New York Knick, you know what I mean? And he truly loves the fanfare and everything that comes along with it, being acknowledged for his time here. Some fans weren't happy that he came in the way he came. Some fans weren't happy that he didn't do what they wanted him to do while he was here in his 7 years. But I was one of those fans that I was happy he came. I got over it. You know what I mean? After we traded away those pieces, I got over it. So shout out to my guy, Jigga Man Porto in the building. What's good, Jigga Man? Salute to the whole Morning Brew Sports crew, Hector, Phil, Jigga Man Porto. If you haven't subscribed, hit that like button and just join the fun over there. What are you doing? As my guy Heck would say. Salute to you guys, man. Yeah, Jigga Man and the rest of these guys, they're doing their own thing and they're starting to run their own network over there. They got a lot of good programming. You got Morning Brew Sports, which encompasses Yankees Morning Brew, Knicks Morning Brew, Jets Evening Brew. And they've even got the kids on there. I don't remember the name of the kids show, but it's like Kids Morning Brew. No, I don't know what it's called. They don't drink coffee. Kids juice packs or high C with the kids. I don't know. Anyway, but shout out to them, man. The Rookies podcast. Thank you. Which that makes sense. Thank you, Jigga Man. So yeah, they got a lot going on over there. So definitely check them out and support them if you haven't already done so. Sha Powers is in the building. Salute, Sha Powers. Real talk. With my guys, Sha Powers and Divine. Salute to you guys as always. Once again, if you haven't checked them out, please do. Great content, very positive. Appreciate these guys. And you know what? The other thing is, both these shows actually Let's like and comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend, man, about these shows. They're trying to get up to that 1,000 mark too, man. Get the subscribers back. You know, it kind of stinks for the Morning Brew because they had 1,000 subscribers, but they left the entity they were with, so they had to start from scratch. So now they're building it back up again. So yeah, man, help get them back where they was. And shout out to Shaw Powers and Divine, and help get them up to 1,000. They're at 9 something, I think, or 8. It's either high 8s or low 9s. Let's get them up to 1,000 subscribers as well, man. Tell your auntie, look, it's gonna be barbecue season, it's company cookouts, it's family gatherings. When you ask who made the potato salad, hey, who made the potato salad? And have you checked out Real Talk with Divine and Shaw Powers, Knicks Real Talk? Or have you checked out the Morning Brew Sports with Phil, Jiggerman, and Hector? Add that to your barbecue and your family gatherings. That's all I'm saying. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for rocking and tuning in. I was just here talking about Melo and kind of what he meant to the city and you know how we feel about him and how we got a raw deal. But in fairness, if I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it all the way. In fairness, Melo did a little bit of this to himself. You know, Melo was known for being a little bit of a headstrong person. You know, he was one of the better players in the league, so he carried himself that way. And, you know, he wanted to start. He didn't want to come off the bench when he first went to Houston, so that was a little bit of a sticking point. And you could kind of understand that because Houston didn't have the greatest squad over there. So there was players like, you want me to come off the bench and you got guys that I don't necessarily know are better than me. I could kind of understand that. But at a certain point in your career, you also have to acquiesce a little bit and understand what's going on. So, you know, Melo got a little bit of a bad rap for that. And he said that he really, it was taken out of context. Like he understood that that's what people thought, but he was okay with it. At first, when they brought it to him, he was like, I wasn't feeling it. But then after a while, you know, I was like, all right, I understand. But at that point, it was already too late. They already made up their minds. So, you know, so there you got that was one big strike against them. Another big strike against them is going back to him being able to make moves, join LeBron and all that stuff later in life. He signed that contract. And then once the Knicks had him, he was stuck here. I don't think he really wanted to leave the Knicks. I think he would have preferred if people came to the Knicks to be with him. But, you know, some people might say that even though you don't want to blame Melo, because the players that we traded for him weren't that big of a deal later in life. We've seen that they're not even, none of them are even in the NBA. The point was, Melo knew the CBA agreement was coming down. He knew that the money was going to be changing, and he wanted to get in while he could, while the money was still while the money was better for him. So had he not been thinking so much about money, you know what I mean? Maybe things would have been a little different. Maybe he could have had a couple more pieces to be around him when he was with the Knicks. You know, they got that 1 year where they tried to build a team around them with Jason Kidd and Rasheed Wallace and these guys, but it wasn't sustainable because these guys are already they're on their last legs. And, you know, it is what it is. But whatever. So that's the negative about Carmelo and the fact that he didn't play the greatest defense. But, you know. But the positive to me outweighs the negative, man. He was a great player for us, and he definitely gave the Garden a lot of energy, and he put the Knicks back on the map because no one was, you know, how many players have really come to the Knicks, right? Not many. We had Patrick Ewing, we got Carmelo Anthony, and some might say after that Julius Randle, and then Jalen Brunson. You could say RJ, but RJ's people don't look at him around the league in that same manner. So yeah, it's just wild stuff. But anyway, why don't we do this, guys? And if you guys have any special Melo moments that make you think of him, put it in the chat. I'll see if I can remember when it was. I'm old now. I had a birthday recently, but I lost a couple memory cells along the way. Shout out to Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. What's good? Appreciate you, my brother. But let's take a look at Melo's career stats, because the thing about Melo is that, his career numbers, it felt like it was much more impactful, than than the numbers show. I'll say that. But his career numbers are they're okay. So, 22.5 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1 steal per game. What else we got here? 0.5 blocks per game, 44.7% from the field, 35.5% from three, 81.4% from the free throw line. These are really good numbers for an NBA career. You know what I mean? And Melo is one of the greatest players in the NBA. He's definitely going to go to the Hall of Fame. But what's really interesting about this? I love when people make this argument. Is it fair? Probably not, but we'll see. Maybe it will be one day. But when you look at Melo's numbers, and I don't have his numbers up right now, so I'm not going to do the comparison. But when you look at Melo's numbers and you look at Julius Randle's numbers, one could argue. Just saying, one could argue. But Melo was a better three-point shooter. Clearly, well, Melo's a better shooter, period. Better three-point shooter, better free throw shooter. But from the field, similar. Assists, Julius might have the edge, and rebounds, Julius definitely has the edge. And then points per game, I think Julius is going to be right around there, because Melo took a big dip over the life of his career. It's at one point those numbers look crazy. Like Melo was unstoppable. So just something to keep in mind. I think it's kind of wild, but it's true though. It is what it is. Gotta look at it. We gotta call it how we see it, man. It's wild stuff though. Yeah, I see you guys. Yeah, the chat's like, yeah. I know. It's nuts. You got it, Jigga, man. Yeah, man. You don't get advertising like this anywhere, be for free. I give it without even asking. I appreciate you guys as always, and I would always look out and shout out my peoples, man. Always. When I can, I forget stuff. But yeah. Shout out to Kareem Grant. What's good, twin? I see you in the building. Always good to see you. Dwayne Dennis says, can you imagine not having Carmelo Anthony for 7 years that he played for the Knicks, especially when no one else wanted to come here? He gave it 100% every game. That's true. And I'm going to tell you one thing too. As much as I just said that the numbers between Carmelo and Julius Randle are similar, one thing I'm going to tell you guys is Carmelo gave effort. He just wasn't a good defender, but he gave effort. I did see him dogging it a little bit towards the end of his career. You know what I mean? But he's already past 30s. He's in his 30s. It's a little different. But when he was younger, he hustled, he gave effort. He just wasn't the greatest defender. And he got away with stuff like fouls and stuff. He was very aggressive with his fouls. he used to hit you with that Hassan chop, but other than that, definitely deserves a lot of kudos. Shout out to him. And the crazy thing is, these young people today that may not be that familiar with Carmelo, they know a little bit about him. Oh yeah, he looked like he was a good player. I hear his name, Melo. Yeah. That's what they hear. Melo was a beast. And people forget that. Like Melo was really good first couple of years with the Knicks, like really good. And then he got like a little bit more regular because he didn't have a lot of help around him. But Denver Melo was an assassin. Shoot from anywhere on the court, cold. Then if you try to play up on him, go right by you and dunk, but emphatic dunk, not no just lay it up dunk. No, dunk on your head dunk. Melo was a beast. Yeah, so it's how it is, man. It's how it is. But I just never could tell you how great I felt the day when Melo got here and they played, the public address announcer said what he said, showed the video, the coming home video, and then the first person he introduces is Carmelo Anthony, and then Carmelo comes out. The crowd is going crazy. I was losing it. I was like, yes, we finally got one, and he wants to be here. It was unbelievable, man. I was so high. I was hyped. I was so excited. And like I said, I'm very happy. Don't regret that 7-year period that he was here with us. I wish we would have did more around him, and had a better chance to win, but I am happy that he did get us a playoff series. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. At least we had a good player. Yeah. But speaking of good players, Melo's known for a lot of things, but what really sticks out to a lot of people for Melo is his record-breaking 62-point performance at Madison Square Garden, breaking Bernard King's record as a Knick. The Garden record's been broken many times by opposing players, but Melo was the first Garden guy to break it. So, why don't we take a look at him dropping 62 on them? You know what I mean? Look at that. We got the score tracker too. Bang! Little 2, little 5 there. You know what I mean? Just look at how he scores effortlessly from everywhere on the court. I mean, he was really on one this night. And you could sense it. Like when you're watching this game, because I remember when I was watching it live, I'm like, oh man, Melo looks like he's cooking today. And even the announcers started to get it. They started to say, yeah, it looks like Melo's got it going. He's feeling good about himself. I mean, and see how the net splashes? When those shots go down like that and the net is splashing like that, you got it going. Look at, like, he just seemed like he was in a zone. And here, you're about to see when I knew Melo was going to have a special night. Right here to end the half. Oh, boy, I was like, uh-oh. Melo is on one tonight. If he's hitting that shot, I was like, this is going to be a long night for the Charlotte Hornets. And he just kept cooking. Nothing was stopping him, no matter what they did. And, the funny thing about this is if you talk to NBA players that played against Melo, this is who he was. Like every night he could do stuff like this. This is how it felt to them because they couldn't guard him. They couldn't stop him. He could do everything. And he was physical too. He was strong. Like people used to make fun of Melo because he didn't have the chiseled muscular body like a LeBron and all that, but he was strong. And he gave LeBron when they used to go up against each other one-on-one, coming into the league and even over the course of the league, Melo, came down a little bit and LeBron kept getting stronger and better. But I mean, yeah, he just knocking it down, man. And this was interesting too. I almost forgot this. Right here, he scored 62 points and they took him out the game. It was a blowout, but look, there's 7 minutes left in this game. Melo could have went for like 70, maybe 75. Who knows? I mean, and that's when you look at today's player, all these guys scoring all these points, 70 points, Booker, Donovan Mitchell. Melo could have did that easily. He had 7 minutes left. He could have easily got to 70. It's just that, This was the old way of doing things. You show up, do the damn thing, take your bow, and you're out. Yeah, it's just that was I just never forget. That was such an amazing moment, man, to watch that. And I'm glad that at least like being a Knick fan, especially this generation's Knick fan, we haven't seen a lot of amazing moments. We just been deprived of that. We haven't had, a lot of great players to come in and out of Madison Square Garden wearing the blue and orange. So we've been a little deprived of that. But Melo definitely did provide some really big special moments for us, and I'm gonna take those with me for as long as I live. So, and I hope everybody else appreciates him for that too, because I mean it's just crazy. Like I don't wish I was around to see Clyde in his prime, because that means I would be a lot older. But but you know what I mean? Those people, those guys that were around to see that saw something special. The Knick teams and what that's different, man. To see it, to witness a championship, it's incredible, which would have been great. But for us, we had Melo. Now we've got Brunson and RJ and Randall, but Brunson's starting to give us some special moments. Randall has given us a couple here and there. RJ's hit a couple shots, but as this team continues to grow, hopefully these moments will be a little bit more impactful, and they'll mean more. Like it'll mean that we're making our way to the next level. Hopefully. Paris Doug is in the building. Salute. He said, I can't believe people question Melo's greatness. If he at age 28 were here in place of Randall with this roster, Obi would be better, RG would be better, and we would be beating Boston now. I'll tell you one thing. If we had this same roster with 28 Melo, we would be a problem. Because Melo at 28 was a problem still. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Parrish. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I've already mentioned it a couple times. Shout out to Melo though, guys. Appreciate him. I'm gonna start talking about a little something else though. I said on Twitter last night, I believe. I said that, why can't we, come to the realization as fans that the Miami Heat are just a better team than a lot of other teams right now, and that includes the Knicks. Miami Heat are a better team than us. Right now, they are. Were we a better team than them in the regular season? Yeah. But in the playoff, at this time, they are a better team than us. They play better as far as executing their game plan better than us. They're they out physical us. They hit more shots than us, and they have more experience than us. So, this given moment, throughout these particular playoffs, they were better than us. They seem like they're better than Milwaukee right now at this current moment. They seem like they're better than Boston right now at this current moment. If on paper, does Boston have the better team? Maybe, but they're not playing like it. So guess what? Miami is the better team right now. Um, I just want Knick fans to be able to acknowledge when something else is good around them that's not them. You know, there's not a slight on us, as most people have already pointed out. We gave Miami the most difficulty so far in these playoffs. I mean, so far, and that's saying something. I mean, easily that game six. If certain things bounce a different way, we forced to game seven, and then once game seven would have happened, personally, I feel we would have won, but we didn't get that far. So yeah, I get it, but I just think like people, um, you don't have to uh, uh, downplay somebody else's achievements in order to big up your own, right? That's something we learned a long time ago, and I feel like that with regards to the Knicks as well. All right, yeah, I mean, maybe we could have been the better team. But, it is what it is. Like, we weren't in the playoffs. We didn't show it when we faced them. We did against Cleveland, but Cleveland was overmatched against us. They were more inexperienced than we were, and they didn't execute their game plan at all efficiently. So yeah, just sometimes it's how the cookie crumbles. I definitely think the Knicks are going to be much better next year. I think we're in a really good spot. Even if we came back with the same team, I think we'd be better. I hope they don't, but if we did, I think we'd be better because guys have more experience. Now they saw how the playoffs look. You can feel more comfortable. This is not my first rodeo. Now I know, and you can go out there and feel a little better about your game. So that happens naturally. But I do think the Knicks need to make some moves. They don't have to be huge. If they make a huge move, I'm okay with it if it makes sense. But if they don't, but they put the good pieces around these guys. If they go out and get themselves a nice 3-and-D type player that can fit into the system, great. If they go out and get themselves a backup point guard who can knock down a three and play some defense, I'm okay with it. If they go out and they decide to switch up the power forward situation, maybe they keep Julius and they say, we want a different type of power forward, a solid guy with a bigger body who can bang down low and maybe give us some points down low, but play good defense. We want to go in a different direction. Maybe he can't stretch the floor, but that's okay. We'll get that somewhere else. I'm okay with it. You just have to have a plan of what you want to do and figure it out and execute it. I'm okay with it as long as there's a plan. But I definitely think they need to think about that. Either a different backup power forward or maybe another backup center that can do that type of stuff and move on from Jericho Sims. I mean, I know people don't like to hear that because Jericho Sims never really got a shot, but I don't think Jericho Sims is ever really going to get a shot unless he changes, because it's the way in which he does things that I don't think works for Thibodeau. So it's not about him not being able to learn and get better. It's about how he does things that I just don't think fits what Thibodeau likes, right? And he's a little slow with his reads. He's still slow to figure out where he needs to be and how to execute the defense. And that's not great. And you also got to be very vocal. And, he's an introvert. So unless he can, be a little bit more of a cheerleader back there telling people, because the center helps a lot. If he can start telling people, go here, go there, look, double, two, stuff like that. You know what they call out the stuff. I don't got to get into all that. You know what I'm saying. I just don't know. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, yeah. Dwayne Dennis, so that was your favorite player of all time? Well, that's a great one to have, bro. Yeah, I definitely missed it, man. Yeah, he said, Dwayne Dennis said, what? The Miami Heat smoked the Bucks, then they took care of the Knicks, and now they're smoking the Celtics. They're a very sound team, Jimmy Butler. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can hate on them because we just mad because we had an opportunity and we couldn't take advantage of it. But I also want to say we couldn't take advantage of it because the Heat didn't let us take advantage of it. That's my point that I'm trying to say to people. Could we have done things differently? Maybe. But you know what? They didn't make it easy for us. It's just like in the Cleveland Cavaliers series. Cleveland wasn't able to stop everybody, but they took certain guys out of the game. They made Grimes uncomfortable. They made Quickly uncomfortable. But they couldn't make everybody uncomfortable. They couldn't do it. And when we get into the Miami Heat series, Miami, they had an answer for Julius. Bam made him uncomfortable. And the style of play that Miami played altogether made Hart uncomfortable, because when Hart was trying to fight fire with fire, the refs got involved and didn't really let Hart do it, because while the way Hart was doing it wasn't the most effective way to do it. Like, and plus, Hart couldn't, the same offensive opportunities that he capitalized on in the Cleveland Cavaliers series, the shots that he was making, the open looks he got, or all the putback shots when Hart was flying in to get those rebounds and putting the ball right back up. Miami wasn't letting that go. They weren't letting that rock. So it kind of, Hart loses some of his effectiveness. So all I'm trying to say is, like, we can be down on certain guys because they didn't step up, but understand Miami had a lot to do with that. They saw, they could look at remember, Eric Spoelstra's a video guy, all right? He could see what and one thing I'll say about Eric Spoelstra, and other people have said it too, he gives credit to all teams. He looks at what they do good and he gives them credit. He's always been giving the Knicks credit for how they play. And he's even telling his team in the middle of the timeouts, he's telling them exactly what this team is doing. You see what they're doing. And then you know that you can't let them keep doing that. You got to respect that. That's the keys. And that's why they're in the situation they're in, and they're making it look easy. So that's what I'm saying. It's no fluke. Miami's good. And I agree with you, Dwayne Dennis. You know what? The thing about this that stinks is that now everybody can see it and understand it. But up until this point, like, they weren't giving Miami that credit. But you don't need to watch Miami take care of Boston. I didn't need to see that for me to understand that, Miami's got it going, and Miami was going to be a problem in that series versus. I knew that coming into the series, but people didn't want to give them credit. And you can't do that. You cannot take your opponent lightly, especially an opponent like the Miami Heat, who's always there, who always has a good record at the end of the year, who's always making the playoffs. You just can't do that. Anyway, Paris Douglas said, I've seen all of them in their prime. Ewing, Earl the Pearl, Bernard King, Michael Ray Williams, Starks, Melo. Oh, man. Good for you, bro. Wow. Yeah, I vaguely remember watching Bernard King when I was a kid. Vaguely. That's true. Chicken Man says we knew whoever got to Boston was going to smack them. That I agree with. But I kind of said that before, that I thought my road, if we're going backwards, my road for the Knicks was I wanted them to play Cleveland. Then I wanted Boston. No. I wanted Cleveland. Then I wanted the 76ers. And then I wanted Boston. I thought that would have been a nice road for us. I thought we could have did that. But it did not work out that way. You know what I mean? Like, that could have worked. And I didn't really want to see the Miami Heat. Because honestly, I've said this before, even in this regular season, this is the first time the Knicks have handled Miami Heat consistently in a long time, because Miami always beats the Knicks. So, yeah, I wasn't feeling that confident about it. Maybe other people were, but I'm still a little shell-shocked. So we'll see what happens. And, another thing I wanted to address that I saw on Twitter, and if you guys care, I'm just letting you know, Game 4 right now, the Lakers are up 73-60 with 11 minutes and 30 seconds left. Lakers are fighting to win this one. They don't want to get eliminated and get swept in 4. Shout out to Almighty Finesse. I see you. What's good, bro? So I was looking on Twitter, and something was posted about R.J. Barrett and Jaylen Brown. And it was like a stat that said it showed RJ's numbers versus the Miami Heat, and it showed Jaylen Brown's numbers versus the Miami Heat. And it was about something to the fact of, and you want Jaylen Brown over RJ Barrett. Listen, we're making a big deal because we want to make the team better, and the playoffs is important. But playoffs ain't everything, right? You got to get to the playoffs. And if you telling me you'd rather have RJ Barrett versus the Miami Heat in the playoffs than Jaylen Brown because of what's happening right now, could we look at the season numbers, the regular season numbers against every other team, and see how RJ Barrett stacks up versus every other team around the league in the regular season, as opposed to Jaylen Brown and how he stacks up versus every other team around the league, and see who looks better? I just didn't like the comparison. I thought it was not the greatest argument. So I just wanted to say that if you're feeling that way, please don't. Please don't. Because everybody can have a bad playoff series. No, am I wrong? I've witnessed everybody have a bad playoff series. I've watched all the stars have a bad playoff series. Chris Paul last year, bad playoff series. Chris Paul, but when he was in the playoffs before, was killing. LeBron James, I've watched have a bad playoff series. Not the whole entire series, but I watched him have a couple games that were duds. You know what I mean? He's a little too good to have too many bad games, but like that happens. How can we say Jaylen Brown has been horrible this year in the playoffs for, which is true. But can we forget how great he was last year in the playoffs? So does that not buy him anything? You know what I mean? Like he was great last year, not good. He was great last year. So I hear people just saying, like, come on, guys. One playoff series doesn't mean everything, but you got to show, you got to put that work in. I got to see something more. But I saw at least we saw last year, Jaylen Brown was crazy good in the playoffs. It's not like this is his first time. So, I look at it like that. I get it, but let's be fair. Let me see. Jigga Man says Miami is doing their thing. No one at this point can really throw shade. Miami got a bunch of veterans with playoff experience, and they all turned it on at the right time. Still hurts, though. That's a fact. I'm with you, Jigga. I mean, I'm happy that the Knicks got to where they got, and I had already said that I would be happy if they did get to that point. But once you get there and you see how the stars start to align, yeah, it's disappointing. Of course it is. Definitely. Yeah, Almighty Finesse says, I don't want the Celtics or the Heat to win. I hate both those teams. Well, I'll be honest. I wanted the Heat to go to the finals to play Denver, and I want Denver to knock off the Heat. All right. So, and I think that that's what is going to happen. Although, who knows? Maybe it would have been better for Boston to make it to the finals so Denver can knock off Boston. I don't know. Because the Heat, I don't know. This Heat team is weird. You never know. Wow, your Knick fandom. Shop Power says his Knick fandom started in '82 when we got Bernard King. Wow. Yeah, I was 5 years old. I wasn't even watching basketball at that point. I knew nothing. I was outside probably blowing bubbles or something, throwing rocks at windows. Dwayne Dennis says, hey, listen, RJ Barrett was MIA all season until the playoffs started. I mean, RJ had an okay playoff, nothing more. It wasn't outstanding. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Agreed. Like I wouldn't throw any of our Knick players away. I'm happy that they're here, but I would say that if we're gonna get better, some people might have to go or somebody might have to go. That's it. And you just find out if you want a certain player bad enough, who they want from your team. Everybody's going to start with Jalen Brunson, and that's your first no, right? So, yeah, who do you want? Jalen? No. Who else? And then you go from there. You know what I mean? Paris Douglas says we got to be careful with Jaylen Brown. I see a little softy in him against Butler. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's tough for me to say. I feel like he's a little, the way Jaylen Brown's playing this year is a little uncharacteristic as to what I've seen in the past from him. So I don't know. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe that's what he's showing. Part of me, I don't want to say it because I hate to say stuff like that, part of me feels like Jaylen Brown is not really giving his all because he wants out of Boston and is done. That's part of me, the conspiracy theorist, is feeling a certain way that I feel like he just wants to get up out of there. But that's, hey, I don't want to say that because, it's horrible if you make it sound like a player quit on his team. Nobody wants to be looked at that way, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little funky to me. Not after the way he played last year. I don't know. Just saying. But whatever. I could be wrong. Yeah. Yeah, Denver's a very good team, Almighty Finesse. They're a lot better than people gave them credit for because they have good defense all around at different spots on the court. Then they have solid offensive players. Like they got special offensive players. Maybe two of them. But the point is those two are really special. Like say what you will about Jamal Murray. A healthy Jamal Murray is a monster. Like every time I think this guy's not as good as he is, he shows me he is. So he's a beast. And then Jokic is just a beast. And their pick and roll that they have, that offense that they run is damn near unstoppable. You can slow it down, but you can't really stop it. If other things are working, they can go hit you with that pick and roll again and just get everything right back where it was. That's a tough team to play, at least right now. And remember, guys, Knicks beat them because I know some Knicks fans were like, yeah, but the Knicks beat them. No, we beat them in the regular season, and Jokic wasn't there. Let's not forget. Lion of Judah's in the building. Shalom, my brother. Appreciate you. Blessings. Always good to see you. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm glad you remember. That's what I kind of thought, man. It might be like Denver and Miami was what I wanted, only because I want to see Denver win. Because I don't want to see, like, out of all these teams, definitely don't want to see Boston win at all. I mean, if Miami won, I guess it's a feel-good story for Jimmy Butler, but like, I could tolerate that. I don't want to see the Lakers win it again, but I'd much rather see Denver get theirs. It shows that Denver is now a new team that, has made its way to the top. It shows that Jokic is now a player that can take his team to the top because he's that good. And, it puts some more behind who he is as a player and as a value to that team. Paris Duggan likes Kuzma for cheaper. I don't know. I mean, if you guys are worried about the heart that Jaylen Brown has, I don't know about Kyle Kuzma. If that's what you're worried about, that's all I'm saying. A lot of people are saying that. Shot Powers asked Paris, how does he feel about KP? I'm seeing KP a lot, man. Now, don't get me wrong. If you brought KP back to New York, would I be upset? No, but it depends on what you send back for KP. And if I'm getting KP, it can't stop there. Like, I still need you to get me a 3-and-D type player. He may not be Jaylen Brown. He may not be, Jeremy Grant or somebody expensive who requires, more to get them. But I need some type of 3-and-D. Like, if you tell me the Knicks are going to go out, right? Listen to this, guys. If you tell me the Knicks are going to go out and bring back KP, right? And they're going to trade, I don't know, one of the bigs. I don't know which big yet. And maybe Quickly or OB or something of that nature. I don't know. One of those guys, maybe. And we bring KP here. Okay, I'm listening. And then you tell me, then we're going to aggressively go out and get Trey Murphy III from the Pelicans, who's on a rookie contract. Hasn't really shown that much. So, yet he's still growing into himself, but we know he's a good defender. We know he can score a little bit too. And then you tell me we're also going to bring in a backup point guard like Trey Jones. I mean, one of the Jones guys, one of the Jones brothers or whatever they are, or somebody like that. I'm okay with that, guys. Sign me up. Because you're telling me you bring in KP, I still keep Julius, I still keep RJ, I keep Jalen Brunson. Then I'm adding Trey Murphy the third. I'm adding KP. I'm getting a backup point guard. Sign me up. Telling you, sign me up. No, I don't know if the Knicks are going to do something like that, but I'm just saying that's the way you're going to sell me on KP. You better be bringing somebody else with it. Let me see here. Kuzma, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, Parrish. Kuzma showed that before, but as he's been in the league, some people question, and I say some people, I'm just talking about NBA people, question his heart for the game. He seems to have different passions. I'm just saying what it is, man. You bring him to New York, where the fashion capital of the world and all this stuff, and the nightlife is crazy, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sold. I wouldn't be mad, but like I said, even with Kuzma, you can't give me like all the names that we might look into. It can't just be one. It's got to be 2 to 3. Like we need to change the team around, and they got to be smart, solid pieces that make us better. We know we need a backup point guard. It's evident. We've seen it. Okay, give me a backup point guard. We know we need a 3-and-D. We've been saying it forever. Get me a 3-and-D. It doesn't have to be Jaylen Brown, but get me a guy who's 6. I'm gonna say 6'6" or better. 6'8" would be great. 6'7" is decent. Who can play defense and shoot the ball a little bit, right? Knock down the 3 or open 2. Give me that. And then, you know, if we can upgrade at the power forward or or the center position where we get another defensive minded person who can rebound and has a little bit of an offensive game around the paint. You don't have to be able to stretch the floor. You just have to be able to get a bucket and hold on to the ball. I'm okay with that. Almighty Finesse said, would you trade Obi, Fournier, and a protected first for Sexton? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Um, Only because Sexton is undersized and he's not a great defender. And, um, I just don't think that's where we need to upgrade, position wise. I think we need taller players that can help the team with good length, good defensive principles, and can score. So that's what I would be looking at going forward. I think we got to kind of look at what we got on the team and build according to that. Jalen Brunson's height is an issue. His defense is an issue. So let's get some better defenders to help him out. Get some better shooters around the perimeter so that can space the floor so that Brunson can have open lanes to do whatever he wants. You give Brunson open lanes where the defense has to respect the shooting that the Knicks are bringing. How are you going to stop that? Can you imagine? Look at what Brunson's doing right now with the spacing we have with poor perimeter shooting. Can you imagine you give us perimeter shooting, what this team could do? I didn't want to think about it. Salivate. Anyway, a couple more and let's get up out of here. If we get KP, it's most likely Randall going in the trade. Well, if that's the case, it is what it is. I still, now I'm on the fence about that one. I don't know. Like I said, it would have to be more than just that. Yeah, Jamal Murray was scoring at ease against the Lakers. Once he gets clicking, he's hard to stop. Yeah, healthy Jamal Murray is ridiculous. I've been saying it. KP healthy opens the floor and helps our 3-point shooting. That's true, Shot Powers. Ernesto Diverge in the building. Salute, my brother. Good to see you. He said the Pels will shop Brandon Ingram, but no way in hell they are trading Murphy. Yeah, you're right. And as a Knick fan, who's going to turn down Brandon Ingram, right? But I just think that if we get Brandon Ingram, we're going to get him, his bad back, his bad knees, his bad elbows, his bad fingernails, whatever else he got, man. If the guy could only stay healthy, I would love Brandon Ingram on the Knicks. But if he could stay healthy, then he wouldn't be getting traded everywhere. Lion of Judah says, "Yet Ron Denver will beat Miami, and Jokic and company will get their first championship. As far as our young Knicks players got in the playoffs and got a good taste of what next year is all about." I'm with you on that. Shalpara says Zion's still on the contracts, and I think he's getting a big bag as well. No, I think Zion got the bag. Zion signed his contract before RJ got his. Zion got the two something, whatever it is, 205. I don't know what it is. He got his bag already. Yeah, I know, but I just I just don't trust Sexton because he's not a great defender either. Like we need someone who can play that point guard role, but they got to be able to add some defense, man. We need we need Miles McBride with the offensive game. That's what we need. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Shout out to Lewis Hedges is in the building. Appreciate you. Well, get Paul George, Will Kawhi Leonard if they can stay healthy. Yeah, none of those guys can stay healthy. It's just like if you're gonna build, you just try to do it without getting the guys that you know are unhealthy. Because you know, if I'm not healthy there, right, and then I left there and I went there and I'm not healthy over there. When I come to you, what makes you think I'm gonna be healthy? You know what I mean? Like it's not like okay, first team, he's there. He had some bouts with being unhealthy. It is what it is. Or his first team, he was good. We got traded. His second team, he was a little unhealthy. Okay. No, he was unhealthy there. He was unhealthy there. He's unhealthy there. And now you want him here. He's going to be unhealthy here too. That's just all I'm saying. I understand the talent, guys, and sometimes you got to take a chance. But, you know, if guys unhealthy as they get older, they don't get more healthy. You know, they get less healthy. So just throwing it out there. All right. Yeah, I see PG has his own podcast now. Wow. It's tied 83-83, and now Denver just hit a 3 to go up 86-83. Yo, Denver is no joke, man. You cannot get rid of this team. Like if you're getting a healthy Denver with the defensive players they got and the offensive weapons doing what they need to do, like if Jamal's Murray is healthy and doing his thing, and you got Jokic doing his thing, and then Porter Jr. is doing his thing, I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, 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 Sha. That's the thing. I see what you're saying about the guys being able to play and be healthy out there. Well, Michael Porter Jr. is still he's got all the skills and the talent, but he's been very quiet in these playoffs. If you notice, the Denver's been winning these games without him. So don't get too high on him either, because as good as the skills he hasn't been really stepping up that much. But he looks like I don't know how many points he's got in this game, but it looks like he looks like he's finding his shot. And he's trying to stay healthy. But his stuff was the back injury, and that's very tough for any player. But hopefully he's good. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. I thank you all for tuning in and showing me love as we hold the show down and do what we got to do, talking about these Knicks. We're going to get into it a lot more this weekend on Know the Ledge. We're going to talk about some of the other pieces. There's a lot of free agents. They may get signed, by their own teams, but there's a list of free agents that are not, huge names, but they're guys that could help this Knick team. And we're going to look at a good amount of them and see how we feel about how the Knicks could work out something and who we can put together to build out the roster. Well, to help build out what we're missing. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about a couple scenarios on Saturday on Know the Ledge and see if that plays out. Last Saturday we talked about the big topic players. This Saturday coming up, we'll talk about the smaller tier players. But we can still win with those guys. You just got to get the right guys. You know what I mean? Look at these guys that are in the playoffs right now. Look at the key pieces, the Austin Reeves and the Rui Hachimuras, the Bruce Bowens, the Kentavious Caldwell Popes. Those are guys you can find. You can get those guys. So, don't be surprised. The Knicks can definitely build on what they got right now, the smart way. So we'll see, guys. The other thing that I wanted to say is, shoot, I just had it. What was it? I was just thinking of something that, I got it. So the narrative apparently that's going around the league is that players don't want to play for Coach Tom Thibodeau. What am I missing? No, don't get me wrong. In the past, I get it. Thibodeau built up a reputation of being a tough coach that runs you into the ground. But Thibodeau just took the Knicks to the playoffs 2 years ago. And you saw what we had on that team, right? Last year, we were a little devoid of some talent. Didn't really work out the way we wanted it to. We didn't make it. This year, we added Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart. We win 47 games. We win our first playoff series in 10 years. We knock off Cleveland. We take Miami to Game 6. And you're telling me that players don't want to play for Tom Thibodeau? Like, at some point, I'm starting to look at some of these players like, oh, what are these guys? Babies? Are they soft? And I'm not saying Tom Thibodeau is great, but I don't think Tom Thibodeau is doing anything to warrant a player saying, oh, I can't play for that guy. Like, what are these guys? Suckers? I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I mean, they're saying something about Joel Embiid has expressed in the past interest of wanting to be a Knick, but doesn't want to play for Tom Thibodeau. What? Whatever. I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, shout out to Agent Super Argo. Appreciate you, my brother. Good to see you. He said, don't get me wrong, but as a Knicks fan, this was a season to make the finals. Next season, teams will be healthy and stacked with new players. It won't be as easy for the Knicks going forward. I hear you, Agent Super Argo, and I'm usually the one who feels that too. But last year, 2 years ago, when we were playing, Atlanta had a nice little road to the finals. No one knew that was going to happen, right? Last year, we saw something happen in the playoffs and different teams move around and something happens. And then this year, everything happened a certain way. Milwaukee got knocked off. The Warriors got knocked off. Look at what's happening. It's just, you never know, man. So I'm just like, build your team the right way. Put the product out there that's going to get you to where you want to go, and then go out there and execute. Just play, because anything can happen. But build your team the right way. Don't worry about it. Your time will come. Don't think like 5 years from now you're going to have an opportunity. You got to strike while the iron's hot. True. But if it didn't happen this year, then work towards getting it next year. That's all we can do. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. If you're just joining in the show, smash that like button. Watch the replay. We talked a lot about Carmelo Anthony. We talked a little bit about our Knicks and what's going on. We talked about some rumor stuff and different things of that nature. And you know, it is what it is, man. But hey, as I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knick fans, we'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights for the SKF Weekly at 9 p.m. with man Ron and John, when he can make it. Thursday nights for the NBA Report at 8 p.m. with Ron and John as well. At you know, Nothing But Knicks channel, where we talk about a lot of Knicks, a little bit of NBA, and then on Saturday, Know the Ledge at 11 a.m. with yours truly, where I can talk you off the ledge. And I think I'm gonna have to talk some people off the ledge this Saturday as well, but we'll see. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Shout out to all of y'all. Keep doing well, man, because if you don't do it, no one else will. I'm out of here. Take care.
Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.